All right, today we're going to talk about lesson 8-9, making sense and perseverance. So you want to persevere, keep working through the problem. A rectangular dog park was built with the dimensions shown. The fencing that completely surrounds the park costs $12 a yard. Each square yard of grass sod that covers the entire park costs $8. What is the total cost for the fencing and the sod? Solve the problem any way you choose. So we have two different things we're looking for. First, we're looking for the surrounding the park that surrounds the park. That's called a perimeter. So perimeter equals the sum of all sides. So that means we add them all together. So we have 8 1/4 plus 8 1/4 plus 25 1/2 plus 25 1/2. Or you could do 8 1/4 times 2 and 25 1/2 times 2, whatever you would choose to do. So if I wanted to make equivalent fractions here, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 fourths, and I have 50, 66, and 6 fourths. So my perimeter is going to be 6 fourths is equal to 1 and 2 fourths, which is 1 1/2. So my perimeter is going to be 67 1/2. That's my perimeter. So my perimeter is 67 1/2. And the fencing costs $12 a yard. So I'm going to do 67 1/2 times 12 to find my cost of my perimeter. And my area, let's find the area and then we'll solve the cost. Area equals length times width. This is a nice rectangle. So we have 25 1/2 times 8 1/4. I can turn 25 1/2 into 51 over 2, and 8 1/4, I turn it into 33 over 4. When I multiply 51 times 33, I get 1,683 over 8, which reduces to $210, or 210 square yards, 210 and 3/8 square yards squared. And this guy up here is yards. So now I need to take my 210 and 3/8 and multiply it by $8. And I need to do my 67 1/2 and multiply it by $12. Let me get that out of there. And you can do that on a calculator. You can also use distributive property, 210 times 8 plus 3/8 times 8, 67 times 12 plus 1/2 times 12. And we wind up, let's see, 210, do that on the calculator, blah, blah, blah. So let's see, 810, or was that? Okay, so here we have 210 times 8 equals 1,683, and 67 1/2 times 12 equals 810. And when we add them together, our grand total is $2,493. A lot of work there. And again, on something like this, you'd want to be using a calculator or a fraction calculator to help you out there. But you're still going to have to write everything out. So the first thing I did was I found the perimeter by adding all 4 sides. And then I take that amount and I multiply it by 12. So I get $810. Then to find my area, I do length times width and multiply that by $8. The area is $8 for the sod to find my sod total. And when I add them together, my grand total is $2,493. So it's a lot of work there, but you can do it through perseverance, working through a problem. And that is a real world problem that somebody would have to solve when thinking of a budget for an event. Okay, how can you make sense of problems and persevere in solving them? Gwen is planning to tile the entire floor of the family room and kitchen. The cost is $12 per square foot. What is the total cost of tiling the family room and the kitchen? Taking a look at this, I can see it would probably make sense to divide this into two different shapes. So we wind up with the area of the family room. Oops. You can see the family room is a 12 by 13. 17 and a third by 13 and a half. That'll be our family room. We multiply all that out, we get 234 square feet. And the kitchen will be 12, there's my 12, times 10 and 3/4. When you multiply all that out, you get 129 square feet, and you add them together to get 363 square feet. Okay. So a website has a daily trivia contest on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You have 1.5 hours to submit the answer. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have 1.25 hours. On Saturdays and Sundays, you have only 3/4 of an hour. How many hours each week do you have to submit an answer? Estimate the total hours each week you have to submit an answer. Write an equation to show your work. Write an equation using multiplication and a variable to represent the problem. Then solve the equation and answer the question. So let's take a look. On Monday, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you have 1.5 hour. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have 1.25 hour. On Saturdays and Sundays, you have 3/4 of an hour. Estimate the total hours. So I'll say 1.5. How do I want to do this? Let's see. I'll round that up to 2, that down to 1, that up to 2, that down to 1, that up to 2, 1 and 1. So when I estimate, I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 hours will be my estimate. So my equation could be estimate the total hours each week you have to submit the answer. Write an equation to show your work. So I could do 2 times 3 days a week plus, put a big plus in there, 1 times 4 days a week equals 10. Write an equation using multiplication and a variable to represent the problem, then solve the equation and answer the question. So I have 1.5 times 3 days a week. I have 1.25 times 2 days a week. And I have 3/4 times 2 days a week, and I'm adding all that together. Make room for my adding sign. So let's start. 1.5 times 3. Remember, 1.5. I take my denominator 2, multiply it by my whole number 1. 2 times 1 is 1, plus 1 is 3. So I have 3 halves. 1.5 can be written as 3 halves. So I've got 9 halves there. 1.25 times 2. I can rewrite 1.25 as 5/4 times 2 over 1 is 10/4. And 3/4 times 2 is 6/4. So I'm going to add all these guys together. 9 halves, 10/4, and 6/4. Well, 10/4 and 6/4 I know are going to equal 16/4. So I can add 9 halves plus 16 fourths. And 9 halves can be written as 18 fourths. So when I add 18 fourths and 16 fourths, I get 34 fourths. So I'll wind up with 34 fourths, which equals 8 and 2 fourths, which is 8.5 altogether. There you go.